Hello, ladies. Look at your man. Now back to me. Now back at your man. Now back to me. Sadly, he isn't me. But if he stopped using lady-scented body wash and switched to Old Spice, he could smell like he's me. Look down. Back up. Where are you? You're on a boat with the man your man could smell like. What's in your hand? Back at me. I have it. It's an oyster with 2 tickets to that thing you love. Look again. The tickets are now diamond. Anything is possible when your man smells like Old Spice and not a lady. I'm on a horse.
Now, that's one of the ads that Mark will use, obviously, because it's a Proctor Gamble product. It comes under his authority. And he'll tell you the backstory about how that was created and how it almost didn't happen. Now, I want to point out a few things. Number one, the company that is the largest private repository of data, metrics, analytics in the world, Procter & Gamble. These guys say it's really the big idea that makes the difference between succeeding and failing. It's not how much money you spend altogether, and it's certainly not, the knowledge you have about consumer purchasing patterns and whatever, even though that helps. Ultimately, it comes down to the big idea. Are you speaking to something people care about? Number one. Is it relevant to the consumer? And number two, do they believe you? We've talked about relevance and we've talked about credibility many times. But here's the big point I'm trying to make today. It is about the big idea. You've heard me say this a million times, but what frightens me is this. So very often, people have heard the information, they remember the information, but they still can't do it. They wouldn't recognize a big idea if it walked up and slapped them in the face, if it bloodied their nose, if it bit their ear off like Mike Tyson in one of his last boxing matches. The big idea is something that we very often are afraid of. It's the thing that we dare not touch. And we want to come up with little ideas and pretend they're big ideas. Quit doing that. Quit it. It takes courage. It takes audacity. It takes that willingness to be wrong. It takes that willingness to do what nobody's tested yet to have a truly big idea. Now, the World Effie award-winning ad for Old Spice. I mean, it made a bigger difference to the bottom line, more hundreds of millions of dollars in profit to Procter & Gamble. Bigger difference in product growth than any other ad in the world the year that it was released, just a year or two ago. And the point is, it almost didn't happen. Why? Because big ideas are terrifying. Now, what was the big idea in that ad?
Anything is possible when your man smells like Old Spice and not a lady.
What was the big idea?
Anything is possible when your man smells like Old Spice and not a lady.
Anything is possible when your man smells like Old Spice and not a lady. The world can be different when the man in your life smells like a man instead of a lady. Now that speaks to something fundamental, I think, down inside us, and it's credible, it's believable. It's like, these floral scented, soaps and whatever, and it's like, Old Spice is an old traditional man smell, and it's like, I get it. And so we've talked about different techniques they used in that ad to make it so effective, but the point I want to make is this. You can just pierce through all of the distracting production, which was marvelous, and you can find the big idea. A man should smell like a man. Now, how do you recognize a big idea? In David Ogilvy's books, he says, and did it make me gasp when I first saw it? Well, yeah, big ideas do that because you can't believe they actually did it. They actually said that. Number two, do I wish I had thought of it myself? But I tell you, I think what's pretty common. I'm constantly hearing from people who say, I thought of that once, or, blah, 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 and I already knew that. And they say these things, well, if you already knew it and you already thought it, why didn't you do it? Why didn't you actually do something with that? Quit being a follower, leap, and the net will appear. Is it unique? I mean, has it never been done? Does it fit the strategy? Ah. And could it be used for 30 years? Now, the athlete who is the model for a man's man in that particular ad, no, you couldn't use that guy for 30 years, but could you use the idea for 30 years that a man should smell like a man, and too many soaps make men smell like ladies? Could that idea be used for 30 years? Absolutely.